I have just spent about 1,000 million years trying to figure out why the central locking wouldn't lock the hatch on my Mark IV Golf. It's a 2001, so it's very, very old. And they've got all kinds of electrical issues, especially in the back because the washer fluid pump thing has leaks in the default. They actually changed mid-generation what kind of connector they used to one that's a lot better, but because mine was old, it leaked everywhere. So I assumed that was where the problem was. And I looked at all the different electrical things that could go wrong, but really the wiring was good. I'd replaced the motor. I'd used my own kind of joints to wire things up. And so everything seemed like it should be fine. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole process of how I figured this out, but let's say there's no diagrams out there for the lock mechanism. That's the one that actually you put the key into. Because in my case, the key worked fine, but I couldn't use any electrical means to unlock it, and I could hear the motor going. That's the key thing. What's called the actuator is the thing that you've got this little beam here, and it pulls it up and down, and that's how the electronic locking works. So I could see that was working. But still, it just wouldn't, it was able to lock the car, but not unlock it. So without going into how I figured this out, I'm going to just show you what I worked out was wrong with mine. So if you've kind of solved all the electrical gremlins and you still haven't found anything, this might be it. Okay, so this is not my lock mechanism. This is one from a hatch I replaced. This is how I was able to figure it out. So, get rid of that. Basically, if you strip it down to basically this flat bit, after that you get into the actual bit that's coded to your key. Everything else is just standard parts. So this goes on here, and this all can only go on one way. And then this goes on. Yep. Ah, yes. See, like I was saying, only goes on one way. I put that on upside down. Okay, see? So this goes on like that. And you can put it on both ways, but then this bit won't go on. So this is the part which has the little black piece of plastic. A lot of people find that this gets damaged, and they replace it. Apparently you have to buy the whole mechanism, which sucks. I mean, you could probably replace it with something else, but anyway. So that normally goes on there, and I'll show you what it's supposed to do, though. If you've had this problem, I'm assuming you've already been through this. It's very hard. Okay. So what's supposed to happen is this little notch here, when that is up, then the handle can engage it, and when it's down, the handle can't engage it. So that's what makes it locked. So as this rotates, up, down, that is what will lock this in place. So here is what I had happening. It was fully capable of unlocking it, because you see this beam goes on there. So we pull it up and down, and I'll actually even show you with it in place, so then you can compare it with what you've got on yours. So, got that on there. See? Got it in the unlock position. Can't put it into the... Sorry, it's got it in the lock position. It can't put it into the unlocked position. Because when it pulls up, that should unlock it. And I spent ages trying to figure this out, and what I discovered is that you can see on here, probably can't, but if you look on yours you'll find it, there's a little notch right there. It's just a tiny little bump, and I assumed that this was part of some other like usage of the same part, and I was wrong, because you can see on here there's that little notch. So what I've just discovered is that there's supposed to be a roller bearing in there. And I think that wears out. Like a 2001, absolutely something like that will wear out. It's a tiny little piece. And I think this one, when I took it apart, it disappeared and I never saw it. So what you're going to have to do if this is your problem and that's not there, and by the way, this is actually easier than you'd think to pull apart because you can take the spring off with a pair of pliers. What you're going to need to do is find something that can go in there that will be able to move relatively freely, but will still lock these two pieces together. Because that's what that does. It locks it in place so that this can move up and down and will actually actuate this. So what I have is, it's just what I had on hand, is a magnet. And that, I believe, is 2 by 3 millimeters. Yeah, it's, oh, maybe it's 3 by 4. Which one did I use now? Okay, it's 3 by 4 millimeters. So it's a 3 millimeter circle and it's 4 millimeters high. Got to be clear, you don't need a magnet. You just need something that will go in between these two pieces. So you do. This is the disadvantage of working with magnets. They have a mind of their own. Okay. So what you got to do is get it in there like so. And then put that on. So now they should be locked in place. Let me put it on here. And this is going to be a pain, and you can see I've done bad things to my hands working on this. But it's worth it when it works. Grr, come on. Okay. So, now you can see, get that on there. I'll actually put the spring on because there's not enough force there to lock it in place. Because I want to show you that this works. Though you could just go do it and that would be fine as well. Come on, spring! Yeah, this is all just awful to do. It's a massive pain in the ass. There we go. Okay, so this is the whole mechanism. This is what you should actually find in your car. So here's the thing we want to move. And when we pull up, as you can see, it moves. And that's what we want. It moves into the unlocked position. So locked, unlocked, locked, unlocked. And it's all down to that roller bearing. Part of the reason I've made this so long is that you can actually see all the bits, which is nice. And if yours starts to fall apart, because mine did, once I got down to that sort of flat bit, you have to put the key in and put it in the unlock position, and then you'll be able to put everything back together. But you should never get down to that stage because you only need to remove the spring, this black plastic bit, and then it's easier if you remove this metal thing. And then you put it all back together and it will work. I hope that has been useful because hours of my life I've lost on this. Okay, hopefully I've saved some other people some time. Bye-bye.